Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, I'm Savannah, writer, celebrity interviewer, and creator of Work the Magic Within. I'm super happy to film this video today to help you begin your very own spiritual journey. A few of you ladies hit me up confessing that you feel the desire to expand your spirituality but don't really know how. So hopefully this video will resonate with you and help you identify the next step that you should take. Now let's start with a short definition of what a spiritual journey truly is. Life is a series of teachable moments. All our life, we encounter different people, different situations, and experiences that make a human experience interesting to navigate and actually worth living. We could say that life in itself is a spiritual journey, but what I like to think is that a spiritual journey is actually what we decide to do with all the teachable moments. As in, will we decide to ignore the lessons that life is trying to teach us, or will we use them as stepping stones for growth and eventually reaching a higher sense of self? To me, that's what a spiritual journey is. It's an intentional understanding and mastery of the concept of life through the self. I say through the self because a spiritual journey isn't one big universal thing that all human beings have in common. We are all walking different paths, though we might sometimes experience the same things, but ultimately it's going to be to each its own journey, depending on the life and the purpose that we've been assigned to live and to fulfill. This means, and it's most likely going to be obvious to you, this means that a spiritual journey is different than a spiritual awakening. And you must know that a spiritual journey doesn't necessarily start with a spiritual awakening. In fact, the journey is actually what leads to those big light bulb moments. Yes, those, because you will experience many of them throughout your journey. A spiritual awakening often occurs after a major life crisis or a traumatic event. It happens when there's a need and desire for healing. It also happens when, like the moment the dots connect, when the lesson is learned, when you realize that you are longing for more and deserving of more. Or perhaps you're simply longing for something different. Either way, it's happening because your current reality doesn't sit right with you anymore. You have reached a new point of awareness and enlightenment, and considerable change, whether internal or external, is going to follow that awakening. Now, a spiritual awakening occurs spontaneously. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't really force it. It happens naturally according to the universe's and your soul's timing. When your soul decides that it's ready to elevate, then it will. With that being said, that doesn't mean that you cannot progress in your spiritual journey in an intentional manner. As a matter of fact, if expanding your spirituality is something that you want to do, you definitely should be intentional about it. Now, the big question that you may be asking yourself is, how? How can I be intentional about my spiritual journey, and where do I begin? Well, there are many things that you can do. But first, there are two things that you should always keep in mind. And the first thing is, remember that it all comes down to one thing, and that is self-discovery. Whatever you decide to do, and no matter in what order, if you do it for the sake of self-discovery, it will automatically make you progress in your spirituality. And second, I know that people on Instagram make it look fancy and life revolutionary, but a spiritual journey is painful. Such kind of inner quest is not for the faint of heart. If you want me to, I can dig into the risks of such a journey in another video, but let me know in the comments below. But either way, you've been warned. a spiritual journey is a forever thing. Once you turn the light on inside, you can't turn it back off. So it's long, it's painful, but it introduces you to a whole new way of living, and most people say that it's worth it. So being intentional about your spiritual journey can look like spending a significant amount of time alone in order to quiet the noise around you and be able to recenter and reconnect with yourself without being distracted by external factors. Spending time on your own also makes room for objective and honest self-reflection. Self-reflection being another way to be intentional. It gives you enough time to think, evaluate certain things, and bring in the answers that you've been looking for. If you're like me, you might need a medium in order to be able to fully express yourself and also understand yourself. For me, that medium is writing. So when I self-reflect, I either need to jot down my thoughts in my journal or write them down in a Google Doc. As for you, I'm not sure what the medium is, but I know that it can pretty much be anything. You can express yourself through art, music, dance, crafting, photography, home renovation, literally anything, as long as you create a space for yourself to reflect that is judgment free and where you feel comfortable enough to allow yourself to be honest and vulnerable, anything will work. Moreover, tarot and oracle cards are also great tools that you can use to help you self-reflect. When you don't know what to say or where to begin, the cards most likely know the answer. So another way to progress in your spiritual journey is to explore outside your comfort zone. Spirituality is all about growth and reaching higher levels of enlightenment. Yet that can't happen if you stay sitting comfortably in your comfort zone, guys. Spirituality wants you to try new things, face new challenges, meet new people, let yourself be triggered, and way more so that transformation can actually happen. So yeah, these are all tools that you can use as far as how to begin. Then of course you can also read books on the matter depending on what angle of spirituality you wish to tackle first, which brings us back to the question, where to begin? I want to say that the starting point of your spiritual journey will depend on two things. One, you wish to better yourself, and so you will want to focus on the art of self-development. From my own experience, I tend to say that personal development is commonly associated with goal setting, mindset shifts, hardcore physical movement, as in daily exercise to morph into your dream body. Also, the law of attraction, all this stuff, you know. And two, there is a part of yourself that craves healing. And for that to happen, you will have to focus on shadow work, ancestral work, which is to me a totally different thing than personal development per se, because in order to heal, you need to go really deep within and unpack until you are empty of all feelings and you can finally proceed to rebuild. Personal development kind of requires that as well, but not as much and definitely not as intensely. For me personally, I began my intentional spiritual journey back in January of 2015. I began with self-development, PNL, and the law of attraction specifically, and it lasted up until 2017, where I fell into a deep depression for a couple of years. And I'm just now accepting the fact that I need healing, hence why personal development doesn't work for me anymore. And to be completely transparent with you, I actually resent the concept a lot, because one thing they don't tell you is that for someone that needs healing, that needs to get to the root of things, personal development can become really toxic real quick. Social media is always pressuring us to do this, to do that, to be and do better. But how is that even possible when you don't even know how to be yourself anymore? You know? How can you improve something that you don't even see or feel? At the beginning, when I was just into personal development, all that had to help me get through were books, my dreams, and my vision boards. But ever since I'm into healing, I turned to energy work and occult practices. So I just started taking Reiki classes, using crystals, Palo Santo, sage, incense, tarot, oracle cards, etc. And this is how I'm deciding to trust in who I am more, to trust in my gifts, in the universe, and also heal myself, you know? I'm no longer seeking to achieve stuff. I actually stopped believing in the concept of purpose, and I can also tell you why in another video. But yeah, what I'm seeking now is true, genuine happiness and to just be, fully be. That's it. Maybe I'll go back to crushing goals someday, but for now, I'm focused on being and on being grounded. So yeah, if you ask me, I say start with healing. We all need it in one way or another. Free yourself from the things that need to be unpacked. Crack open so that the light and wisdom can get in. But if you can't find what part of you need healing, then it's totally fine to begin with personal development. Just be careful, experiment, work hard on yourself, but also give yourself grace and have enough discernment to know when it's no longer working for you. For the last part of this video, I wanted to tell you a little bit about the 12 stages of a spiritual journey. I think it's important for you to know what to expect and to also have a whole theory that you can rely on when the spiritual world becomes too complicated to navigate or even understand. So a spiritual journey is very similar to the hero's journey. The hero's journey is a story structure that author Joseph Campbell was able to identify while comparing myths from different backgrounds and cultures. He turned his work into a book called The Hero with a Thousand Faces, in which he obviously details the journey of the archetypal hero. This concept is mostly used by writers and filmmakers. As a matter of fact, as a writer myself, I never got Joseph Campbell's book, but I have this book by Christopher Vogler, which is called The Writer's Journey. As you can see, it's massive. And it's more like a guide for writers to implement the structure into their own work. It tells us about how to map the journey, what usually happens throughout all the stages. It also tells us about the archetypal characters that the hero is going to encounter throughout the journey. It uses famous movies and animation movies to compare and illustrate the theory as well. So as a writer, I absolutely love it. But as a spiritual being, I'm just like, whoa, why aren't we given this when we start a spiritual journey? Like, oh, you are now being intentional about your spiritual journey. Like, here's your guide so that you don't get lost and can understand what's going on, you know? So yeah, the hero's journey is composed of two worlds. There is the ordinary world, which is the hero's comfort zone, his safe place, and it's also the first step of the journey. And then there is the special world where transformation actually takes place. The second stage of the journey is the call to adventure, which comes to disrupt the hero's comfort and comes along with a call to action. Third stage is the refusal of the call. The hero will refuse the call to adventure because of his fears, yet he won't feel as comfortable as he was before in his ordinary world, and he will start to suffer. The fourth step is meeting a mentor. The hero is now in need of guidance because he doesn't know what to do, and because, you attract what you think and what you need. So a mentor figure will show up. They will help the hero get rid of his fears and provide him with motivation and whatever else the hero needs to cross the threshold, which is the fifth step. I didn't even know if I said that right, but whatever. Then once in the special world, that's where the hero will face adversity, encounters enemies, meet allies. That's where deaths, victories, growth occur. There's no specific amount of time for the hero to spend there in the special world before he goes back to the ordinary world. It can honestly last a lifetime. And again, it depends on everyone's journey, you know. But anyway, that's where all major events take place. And then, like I said, the hero travels back, he resurrects, and he returns to his ordinary world. And he is then ready to share and spread the wisdom that was gained. So the hero's journey is a cycle that can repeat itself several times throughout your life, and it's honestly not impossible to step backward. And by that, I don't mean out of the special world at all. Again, I'm convinced that once you get in, you can't really get out unless you decide to play the game and actually win. Now, no, what I mean by that is that nothing in life should be taken for granted, and that includes experiences. And if you don't learn your lessons, and if you don't follow the path that the universe has for you, if you're trying to do it your way a little too much, then you will most likely stay stuck or be taken back to a previous state. But ultimately, the only way out is through, guys. So keep pushing, keep it up, like keep going, don't stop. So yeah, again, I highly recommend that you tune into this whole concept and read more through it so that you can have a better grasp of the life events that you will soon go through. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I know that was a lot, but take the time that you need to let all this information sink in and then begin your spiritual journey at your own pace. I hope that you guys liked today's video and that it provided you with more insight. On my end, I really enjoyed scripting and filming it. So let me know in the comments below what topic related to spirituality we should discuss next, and let me know how you plan to begin your own journey. I'll see you guys in the next video. Don't forget to show some love by liking, sharing, and subscribing. And yeah, love and light always. Bye.